All right, Recon Athlete, episode 114. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucero. Hey, Zach, how was your birthday, bro? Yeah? You gotta turn your mic on, though. There you go.
It was good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Who won the tournament?
So my team got third. My girls' team actually got first.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I've had 3 tournaments, and she's won all 3 of them.
So she's just cold, is what you're saying?
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Is she better than you?
She's a better girl player than I am a guy player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm more athletic. I'm probably a little more like athletic than her and like faster than her. But when it comes to like the other girls, she's like one of the better ones.
Word up. Okay. All right. Okay. So how did y'all do it? I mean, was it like a co-ed kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like so every team had a girl. Every team had like an upper level player. So like some of the people I play with that play like real competitive tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
And then 2 other players, and it was just like random. Like you got there and drew for your team.
Oh, okay. And you got what place did you get third?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How many teams were there?
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're top 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was
Kinda
fun.
like what you were in their class rankings.
Yeah. No, I was like top 25 in the class.
What were you, Paul?
Yeah, top 50.
Top 50?
Yeah.
Me too. Westwood, man. Westwood was rough, dude. I remember when I got my class ranking my junior year, I thought I was like, I thought I was pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At Westwood. I was like, well, I was barely, dude. I was like, barely, like maybe 1 or 2 like spots into the top 50%. I felt bad, dude, because I was like, man, I thought I was smarter than that, dude. I got, but I don't know. I guess not. Shout out to Steven Angiano. He says no Van Halen intro music. Nah.
We're all under 40. Well, most of us are under 40.
Nah, I mean, but R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. I mean, used to listen to Van Halen, dude.
My dad listened to Van Halen. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Zach, Van Halen?
Nope.
No. And Steven, we're debating whether or not the Dallas Cowboys are a good football team.
It's an easy debate, but yeah, I mean, we're getting to
Is
it
it
now.
though?
Yes, it is.
Is it an easy debate?
Yeah, I think so.
Because of their defense.
I think because of a lot of things, but mainly, I mean, really their defense, yeah, you can't give up 30-plus points in 3 weeks.
So here's my deal. I mean, like, I know I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. I'm a huge Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Dak gets and me and Wes were watching the game up at the restaurant, of course, and we're both not Dak Prescott fans, so we're like, oh, he's going to get 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
In this, what he does.
Yeah.
His defense didn't do their job. The one thing that I will say about the Cowboys right now is like, yeah, they're 1-3, but they've been in every single game.
Late, maybe, but they should be 0-4 right now. I mean,
But
one kick, they got 0-4.
They've been within striking distance.
If you look at the final box score, yes.
Yeah.
But if you look at the box score for 3 quarters, the answer is no, because they don't really get a lot of their points until the 4th quarter.
I mean,
and that's because why? Because defenses are going to give up everything underneath.
Yeah.
Because they're going to play prevent coverage, not let the momentum swing get back into Dallas's favor due to the fact of a big play. They're just not going to let that happen.
Right.
And that's where you get all these trash garbage numbers for Dak Prescott.
Yeah. So you're finally on the no Dak Prescott.
I haven't been on Dak Prescott
you
ever since he got drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, listen, I don't think Dallas deserves any kind of conversation because they have a record just like the abysmal NFC East. Everybody has 1 win, and that's like the top seed. And the only reason Philadelphia is on top is because they have a draw or they have a tie.
Yeah, and they actually have a defense.
Okay.
The Eagles actually have a good defense. They just don't have an offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can do it. Cowboys can trade their defense and their offenses.
Yeah, they just got to hire BJ as a GM.
Shout out BJ. Where's my trade offer, bro?
He probably timed out. He probably ran out of his limit for the day.
I was helping some friends earlier. Take a bed together. They're moving, and the whole time like my phone's going off, and it's just BJ. Hey man, dude, my team in the Recon League is amazing. Like we need to trade, or nobody wants to trade me, and I'm sitting there going, you haven't offered me a trade at all.
Yeah.
And then he's like sending me like, and then he's like, well, what about blah blah blah, and what about one guy that's on my IR, one guy on my bench for your starter.
Yeah, that's
Come on, bro.
That's why nobody trades with me.
Hey, come on, dude. Like
So
you
nobody
gotta,
trades.
you know, I'm like, and he's sitting there because he was at work. I guess there was a volleyball game that he's having to do down there in Lehman, and so he's like sitting there, and I'm sitting there, you know, thinking like, oh yeah, let's make a deal. I mean, my team is decimated in that league.
Yeah.
I'll make a deal with you, BJ, and I have before. He just needs to come harder than that, though, man. He just needs to come correct, BJ, please, and we can make a
You
deal.
try to offer me like Hayden Hurst and Tyler Boyd for me to give him Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, he wanted Antonio Robinson or not Antonio somebody and Tyler Boyd for D Hop, and I'm like, bro, you can go kick rocks.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, BJ.
Does he like hope that we like? You think he just spams
thinks,
it and hopefully like
right.
accidentally press the wrong button?
I think he hopes that somebody doesn't really know what they're doing, and then they'll just agree
But
to
that's
the trade.
But that's not none of us.
Well, he obviously thinks it is because we keep getting the request. I mean, I know today, as of today, Zach said he got 4, and his messenger says 6 trade offers from BJ. And then I know Reed got 2, Wes got 1, I got 1, Emo got 1. So
I haven't gotten
bored.
any, man.
Yeah, well, maybe he doesn't like your players that are starters.
Dude, like I said, my team's terrible right now. Everybody's hurt. But I am 3-1.
Yeah, you are. That's good. It's a good.
Bro,
record.
I've been lucky. Total luck.
Yeah.
Total luck.
I think this year is Emo got lucky the first week. BJ kicked my ass the second week, and then I got 2 W's the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I'm lucked out. BJ, I don't know where you're at. Thought you were going to call me, but that's all right. We'll get you on there sometime. I mean, he hasn't been around, dude.
No call, no show.
Yeah, no call, no show, man.
Yeah.
He hasn't been around. Like Wes has been around. You know, Steven's here all the time. You know, like
He's mad at me.
BJ.
Yeah,
Oh, that's all right.
it's all right.
Yeah, and he doesn't. And the Cowboys are doing terrible. So
You got nothing to talk about.
Want to talk about. So, and it's not like the Cowboys can do what the Texans did and get rid of their coach because we just
Not
hired.
right
They just
now.
hired him.
Not right now.
And coming out of the Houston Texans camp, I mean, apparently J.J. Watt and Bill O'Brien got into it pretty heavy.
Yeah, apparently Romeo Cornell took the side of J.J. Watt on that too.
Yeah.
So you got him your defense coordinator and your probably number 1 leader on the team, excluding Deshaun Watson, going at Bill O'Brien. So interesting. I knew something was wrong when they had announced that the workout for Earl Thomas had gotten like pushed back. Because
Yeah.
I thought when they brought him in to work out, whenever the stories were being released, I was like, they're going to sign him.
Oh, yeah.
And then when it said that it got canceled, I was like, something's not right in there.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 losses back to back for them. I'm like, and then when the news broke out, I was like, oh, when they fired him that like Friday afternoon, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. And then this story coming out today.
Yeah. Well, I know I know there's a lot of Texans fans out there that are really happy. You know that Bill
Yeah.
O'Brien is finally gone. You know, got rid of him as a GM and as a head coach. So you know,
He was the NFL liaison too.
yeah.
Bro, a lot of hats he was wearing.
So maybe he was wearing too many. Now he's not wearing any at all.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how the Texans are, able to possibly turn around their season. I don't see how. I don't know. Maybe maybe they'll try to trade back for
He was the
DeAndre
defensive
Hopkins.
coordinator first, right? Bill
I think he
O'Brien.
was- I think he was. I don't know what he was in the Patriots, but
Mhm.
he obviously couldn't
I think
get
he
the offense to work for anything.
Was it defense or offense though? When he always like an offense thing. I feel like actually.
Maybe.
I didn't follow him that close with the Patriots, but what I do know about where the Houston Texans are going is that their vice president who took over has got real strong connections to McDaniels out of the Patriots. But I think personally, who they really should go hire is Eric Bieniemy.
That's what
Kansas
everybody's
City.
saying, man.
Dude, think about him. Think about Eric Bieniemy's offense and putting Deshaun Watson similar to what Patrick Mahomes is doing.
But we're talking about off season.
Right.
Yeah.
Not now.
Not now.
Off-season,
Obviously,
yeah.
they can't. Obviously, they're not going to do it now.
Your
The
season's
season's just a
done.
wash. Yeah.
And you know,
Maybe you go get ETN in the draft. That's what I would do. I would go get ETN.
Are you go draft one of the? Are you just tank?
You
and
tank for
get
Trevor?
number
No,
one and trade
Well,
him?
that's what I'm saying is if you go, let's say you tank, you're probably going to get a few wins because your division's
Terrible.
soft as it is, as just as a whole.
yeah.
And let's say you end up at like 3rd or 4th, I'm taking ETN because you're going to pair ETN. You already got Laramie Tunsil. You got the quarterback. Maybe you find a decent wide receiver in the offseason who can be a number 1. I mean, I think they have a mix right there. Maybe something to complement J.J. Watt. Maybe not Jadeveon Clowney, but somebody similar. Late rounds, third or fourth, you could find a diamond in the rough.
I mean, if you do, if you're terrible enough, you can, be number one and then trade that.
Trade back a little bit,
Trade
get more
back.
value.
Yeah.
Especially if, I think their big board should have ETN at the top of it. Because, I think Johnson's just not – he looked great in week 1, and then the rest – I benched him a couple of weeks after I made a trade for him.
Yeah. So the Houston Texans, having a bad year, get rid of their coach, GM, Bill O'Brien. What can the Dallas Cowboys do right now to turn things around?
Sign Earl Thomas. I think that's the quickest fix. I just don't know if that –
Didn't they release Brandon Carr?
Yeah, what a nonsense story that came out to be, where everybody thinking that Brandon Carr was going to be saving grace. And look, the secondary for Dallas is having blown assignments back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
And if you're having blown assignments in a pass-heavy offensive league, you have to go get someone to shore up, even if he's toxic for your locker room. You need security on the back end. And listen, what does Dallas not have right now? They have quality players. I know Randy Gregory's coming back this week. They don't have a dog. They don't have an alpha in that locker room. They don't have somebody who's going to get in your face, and that's Earl Thomas. If they don't have a dude who can keep everybody accountable and is an alpha and can walk the walk and talk the talk, that's Earl Thomas. You have to bring him in and get that done.
Yeah.
Even if he's gonna piss off and rub people the wrong way, you got to sign a dude like that so that you can at least have some security in the back end, because he'll chew out those secondary guys who aren't going to be doing their assignments. And if guys are going half-assed through practice, that guy will bring them up to speed to where they need to be as pros.
And they were just they're half-assed on the field.
Bro, yes.
You can watch, you can just see the lack
Jalen
of
Smith quit.
The lack of effort.
A few of those DBs quit on that OBJ 50-yard touchdown run to cap off the game.
Yeah.
The last play of the game, you just quit.
They basically ran past him.
Yep.
And let him run up the sideline.
Right. They either ran past him in front of him or ran past him behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I saw 2 DBs do that.
Yeah. And that's embarrassing. Even Troy Aikman says, he put out there that he would be embarrassed to put that type of effort out on tape.
But that's the kind of dude that Troy Aikman is. He's the dude who's going to cuss you out and chew your ass out, because that's what Jimmy did to him.
Yeah.
And there's no guys like that, because we want to be, everybody inclusive and we're all kumbaya. But the players and teams that have dudes out there, they're going to be winning big games. If you don't got an alpha on that secondary and that defense, nobody's getting it done. I thought Marcus Lawrence was going to be. Lawrence was going to be it, but he ain't it, man. I thought Jalen Smith would be it. He ain't it either.
Yeah. So Dallas Cowboys made Baker Mayfield and that offense look like a Super Bowl team.
But what did they do? What did Cleveland do? They ran the hell out of the ball.
When Nick Chubb got hurt, who's one of my running backs in one of my other leagues, Kareem Hunt is going to do well moving forward, I believe. So now the Cowboys, moving into Sunday, they got the Giants at home. Giants are terrible as well.
Loser Bowl 2020.
Is this just like Cowboys fans, should we be excited that we're playing the Giants right now, or just nervous that we might lose to the lowly Giants?
You can't lose to a Saquon-less Giants team. This should be a game where it's going to be like a tit for tat, like a score for score kind of game. I think Golden Tate has a huge game with Danny Dimes throwing the ball, but I think this is where Dallas really needs to showcase their offense. Dak should have put on a big performance through 4 quarters, not just in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm seeing. But, the boys in the desert are thinking Dallas is going to win by 9.5 or more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking 2 touchdowns.
I'm thinking 10 points, but double digits for sure.
Yeah. And Zach Lucero, what's it like to be a fan of a good football team in the Green Bay Packers?
It's nice. Year in and year out, you're never really. They've had years where they haven't lived up to expectations, but they've never been
the Dallas
bad.
Cowboys.
As long as I remember.
Man, I just.
But I was looking. I don't think the Texans. I think the Texans are bad enough that there's no way that they're whatever pick they fall to, unless they get a really high pick and trade way back. There's no way that they take ETN that early. There's so many pieces, even if they don't need them, just pieces that they could get to trade later or to develop or something like that. Pieces on defense, pieces on offense. Because right now the big board has Travis Etienne as the first overall running back with the 28th overall player in the draft for 2021. So I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think it's like because they're gonna have like a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I don't think you would reach that far for a running back at a top 5 pick.
It just depends. I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, their biggest glaring need is a running back. But, I mean, if you could get a lot of value from bringing them back, like just moving back, I think that's a total plausible thing. But to me, what I'm hearing is, like, that's close where Edwards-Helaire was picked up late in the first round, like the last pick by the Kansas City Chiefs. And I just don't see a running back like Etienne do that. I think Etienne is going to be a very solid running back, all-purpose back who can do everything.
Yeah.
And I think also, though, like with the running back position, if you're the one good running back, you don't get the kind of draft stock put into you as you would if you're one of the field of really good running backs. Like, I think to be a running back picked in the first round, it's like a run of running backs as opposed to like risking it for the one guy that, even though, you know what I'm saying? Like, like the one like Leonard Fournette, like superstar Heisman caliber running back, as opposed to like last year when there was like a bunch of really good guys that got taken in the first round. Just because you can kind of like let other teams talk you into picking the running back that you're wanting. But one of the things that they do have on here, as a top 5 player, is Jamar Chase. So maybe they take a receiver to kind of replace Hopkins.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be a lot of value for them for sure, especially replace D-Hop.
I mean, if Will Fuller were able to stay healthy, would you consider him a number 1?
Yeah, for sure, easily.
But I mean, even then, it was always D-Hop and Will Fuller. Like, there has to be a 1-2. There's just not a 1-2.
Yeah, Kenny Stills isn't the 2.
So even then, maybe you say Will Fuller, Jamar Chase, or vice versa. I mean, I do like Will Fuller. I do think he's good,
do too. I think Will Fuller's got plenty of potential. He just can't ever stay on the damn field.
Yeah, maybe that's something that goes into maybe some of his off time things to get right, like nutrition, maybe some type of strength conditioning program.
Whoever he finds, he needs to refer them to the University of Texas too.
Hey, well, that's just something I've kind of brought up, and we'll get into Texas here in a little bit. But I don't know. I just think that the Texans they have some holes, and I'd like to see them fill the running back hole first to take the pressure off of Deshaun Watson.
All right, and BJ just joined the watch party, so we'll see.
Chris, Will Fuller, college.
I don't know.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
How do I know that? Not know that. Dang. That's my second favorite.
You just got nervous.
That's my second favorite college team.
What's your first?
Longhorns.
Oh.
Speaking of the Longhorns.
You like that? You like how I did that?
I like how you do it. Yeah, Steven, he's wanted to know if Herman's on the hot seat.
Do you want me to repeat what I said in our group messaging?
Yeah,
What's bummer though is like
yeah.
That motherfucker's on fire.
But like, what's a bummer though for Texas? I mean, it's the same way with the Cowboys, same way with a lot of teams.
Effort.
It's like if you're just one win away from being forgiven for it all for a year.
But Iowa State and that goon squad literally saved Herman's job, I think, like initially, because if Oklahoma finds a way to win that game and Iowa State loses, I think that Herman is like, his walking papers are written. Mm-hmm. When are they going to get delivered is the question. But with them losing, and if Herman can go into Dallas and find a way to pull a victory out, I mean, I think he'll go from the hot seat to the front seat, and he'll be sitting pretty again.
Yeah,
because he'll have a 3-loss Oklahoma team he will not have to worry about.
Right, winning, just is a cure-all.
Yep.
So if you can win, I mean,
it's the same deal for Gus Malzahn at Auburn. So you just beat Alabama every now and then, and
then you'll be okay.
Have your job forever.
But for like the next 4 weeks, it's going to be tough. They've got Oklahoma, and then a bye week, and then Baylor, and then Oklahoma State. So I mean, that's a tough 3-game stretch. I know Baylor isn't what they have been in the past few years, but Baylor is they're similar to TCU, where they always give the Longhorns fits. So, and my thing is that when you're the Texas Longhorns, and what I don't get is, when you're the Texas Longhorns, every single team that you play against is going to give you their number one best shot. That's going to be the best game that they play all season.
Yeah.
All season long. everybody's going to be up for you. So why they don't come out just on fire, just playing like, the way that they have to play to be a championship team, which is going 100% all the time, because we're not getting that. You're not getting that from the Cowboys defense. You're not getting that from the Longhorns. It's 100% effort every single play, and you're not getting that. And you're expecting these other teams to like have an off day. Nobody's ever going to have a off day against you.
Not Texas.
Never.
And that goes back to the reason that they got rid of Mac Brown.
Yeah,
is effort and player development, and like that's exactly the case here. I mean, even Charlie Strong, I don't think he was the right fit for Texas, but those weren't the problems with Texas.
no.
So, but the problems that we're seeing now is effort and player development, and it's. We could have just kept Mac Brown. Like, he's building a program at North Carolina, and we're losing a program at Texas.
That's what I was telling Wes on Saturday. We were watching that game. I was like, #bring Mac back. He just kept laughing at me.
Yeah, I don't think that would be. I think
He
that's
just
a
kept-
great,
I kept saying that.
hashtag.
I kept saying that to him, and he was just laughing at me. He's just like, dude, whatever, man. I was just like, dude, #bring Mac back.
Yeah, and I think Zach is really onto something, especially with the player development and all the top end quarterbacks like Texas has missed out on. But another glaring thing I think people fail to realize is that ever since Mac Brown was released, through the Charlie Strong era and through Herman's era, they haven't had consistency at the offensive coordinator position to develop these quarterbacks that they can bring in. Granted, these were big, high recruits coming out of high school. But if you don't have an offense coordinator who can stay and be consistent and have a consistent playbook, how are you going to be successful? There's too much ambiguity when you're trying to learn a brand new system when you have coaches coming in and year out. And maybe that's why we see a lot of what happens, especially in recruiting locally here in Austin, where young people don't want to go to play at the University of Texas because they understand what's going on the inner workings, possibly due to some coaches or possibly due to the players that are there themselves, because I'm sure they have relationships offline with those players who are in the system already. Mm-hmm. And we've seen plenty of top 4 and 5-star kids who go out of state to go play college football at these perennial powers because they know locally it's not going to get done.
And it's a bummer too, because I feel like in the NFL, if you're like a player development guy, even on a bad team, you can have your job for a long time. Like Bill O'Brien was like known as like a quarterback whisperer guy, and he's been doing bad at the Texans forever, and like he's like kept that job forever because he's known as a development guy. Whereas if you're known as a development guy in college but you're not winning, you'll lose your job.
Yeah.
If what's his name, Yurcich, whatever his name is, the offensive coordinator at Texas, if Sam says that he's the best quarterback coach he's ever had, and Hudson Card says the same thing, but they don't win, he'll be out of there in 2 years.
That's
less
true.
than that.
That's true.
But because there's not a correlation between the two at that level. So I mean, it's impossible to keep an offensive coordinator if you're not winning, to keep a player development if you're not winning. And I agree with you, Paul, about like not recruiting local talent the way they should. And the reason we have all these guys go, because I like, if Texas was good and we were at the lunch table and Paul was like the best free safety in the state or whatever.
Why didn't you say offensive lineman?
No, look at him, dude. He's a safety.
He's a safety.
And
hard hitting.
And he committed to Texas, and Texas was good. Everyone was like, "Oh, dude, that's the dude going to Texas. That's the dude going to Texas." But if Paul says he's going to Texas now and he lives in Austin, people are like, "Dude, you're going there. They suck." Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
You know, like even if Clemson has a bad year and Makuba's committed to there, no one's going to say anything about that.
Yeah.
No one knows that.
Let's shout out to Tom Dunn real quick. He said, I think he's on the hot seat too. OU game will be the big decider. Let's see. And also he's asking if we think Whittington can stay healthy enough to have an impact this season. I don't know about this.
Made a class, bro.
I don't know if
Team has made a class.
I don't know if he may make an impact this season, but hopefully next season.
It's the same thing I've been talking about since last year. I really believe that they need to reevaluate their strength and conditioning and possibly even bring in nutrition. And I dabbled in this last year. Maybe it's a sports psychologist who needs to get in there also, because we really just don't know, especially right now in 2020 with COVID over our heads. We really just don't know the psyche of a lot of these young people. And, they're going to be away from home. They may not be around their family as much, and they may want to see them. And we don't understand their dynamics. We just don't get it. But at the same time, if you're the University of Texas and you have all these resources, by God, use them.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you're missing out on so much potential that you could put yourself in very, very prominent situations to be successful and win games rather than trying to, wait till the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes against Texas Tech and TCU to squeak out a win and then a loss hypothetically, right? Or this past week against TCU.
So in answer to Tom Dunn's question, we don't think that Whittington can stay healthy this year.
No, I don't think so. And I mean, I almost don't even want him to, don't even want him to come back. I mean, and I think you brought up the COVID thing, and what I'm worried about too, as someone that lives in Austin too, is like when you start the season and you're Texas and you're preseason ranked and you have all this hype and your Heisman hopeful quarterback is coming back, you're like, yo, we need to stay strict, like no going out, like we're gonna win games this year, like we can't jeopardize that. But when you've you lose to Tech, you lose to TCU, you realize you're probably not gonna make the playoff, you realize your quarterback's Heisman stock is slipping, like what's stopping you from your boy hitting you up again saying like, hey, let's go out tonight, and you say, oh, I got a game, and you're like, dude, y'all stink, y'all gonna lose anyway, let's just come out.
This is why I like having Zach on this program, because he gives us that
because he's 3 years removed from college. That's why.
But I get
that. Yeah.
Insight, yeah.
He gets that. There's that mentality, because at 40 years old, I'm like, somebody hits me up, hey, let's go out. I'm like, man, it's 8:30. It's late, bro.
Oh, you be quiet. You be quiet. But because I mean, like we've been keeping up with Texas. Like we've seen like that UTEP game, like no players for either team test positive. Like all these games getting canceled around us. We're like, oh, not Texas. But if you have no reason to want to play, your Caden Stearns, your draft stock is slipping. Your defense isn't good. You're a defensive player hoping to get looks at the next level. All the reasons that you have to like really buy into the COVID protocol and stuff, like it's going out the door. Yeah. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if some of that starts to slip. And I think the people that also suffer the most from that is Sam, not only for his Heisman chances, because I mean, the first couple of games you're like, especially because at first no one else was playing, like this, you're like, dude, this could be the year. Sam really could win the Heisman. And it looked like they were all in on trying to get him to win the Heisman too, like leaving him in for a little bit longer in that UTEP game and things like that. And then I think also too is Sam Cosme. Their offense looks bad. Yeah, their offense looks bad. Like Sam's throwing interceptions. That doesn't reflect very, very highly on the offensive lineman who could have been Texas's first top 10 pick in forever.
Yeah, I think this is just a trickle down of the coaching staff and all the components that kind of build that crew together. And it's a hodgepodge. It's like a year ago, it's like, okay, we got to reformulate defense coordinator and offense coordinator. And now you plug these guys back in, and it's like, these kids don't know. I mean, hell, the first game we had, one of the players for UT walk off the field because of playing time. He didn't know that defense coordinator. That defense coordinator didn't know the sweat equity he had put in previously. And so it's just, a hard dynamic to kind of factor in. But if Texas does win, everything goes away, and, Texas will be probably a top 15 team,
which
after
is a bummer.
That loss, which is a bummer. Which is crazy
because one, I don't think OU is good, and two, I don't think like winning that game should just give you a free pass.
Yeah, I mean, and it does, especially because all you have to do if you're Tom Herman is you win that game. You take a few pictures.
You win that game and don't lose to Kansas.
Yeah, you take a few pictures with that golden cowboy hat on. And everybody's gonna keep putting that out there for a year. And that saves you. I mean, how about let's also raise up a Big 12 championship trophy, which we haven't done in a decade.
Yeah, that's one of the things that'll save your job. Getting a quarterback that wins a Heisman will save your job. Getting a player drafted top 10 for the first time in years will save your job. And it doesn't look like he's going to do any of those.
If Herman raises a Big 12 championship, they're going to extend his contract for 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah,
I really believe that.
Shoot, and those coordinators might get head coaching.
It may be detrimental. It could be, but it could well be detrimental.
Yeah, just like when when they won the national title, a lot of Coach Brown's guys, took off. Yeah, they got all plucked off there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens Saturday. It's 11:00 kick. I don't know what the fan situation is going to be. I haven't looked that up yet.
I didn't get to watch much of that last game because that was during my tournament. But well, you know what really bugs me is seeing the amount of walk-ons that are playing. And like So we saw in the Tech game that Kai Money dude started in the slot. In this last game, linebacker Jet Bush, who was a walk-on guy, got a bunch of playing time at linebacker. And like you can say like all you want about like, well, maybe they earned it and all this stuff and they know the plays and blah blah blah, but they just haven't. Well, one, there's no way that those guys get the same amount of strength and conditioning attention as the scholarship guys do.
Right.
And that was so apparent watching the Kai Money dude play. Like he caught everything they threw at him, but when they tried to block, it was a joke. It was a joke. And I didn't get to, like I said, I didn't get to watch much of the game, so I didn't get to see how the Jet Bush guy did. But you're telling me that there's, even though it's out, you can't play someone out of position so bad to the point that you have to let a walk-on play over somebody else, Alvante Woodard or Malcolm Epps, who just moved from receiver to tight end. You can't put someone like that there. You can't move someone from outside linebacker to inside just for a couple snaps, just for a game. And I think that is a big testament to player development too, that your players are either so against or your coaching is so against like cross training that
Jinx.
You have to put a walk on there instead.
I mean, we did that in high school. I mean, I had to learn a little bit of how to play linebacker as a defensive end. You know,
I guarantee you there was
just in case something happened. You know,
and I guarantee you there was some kid on the JV that they brought up to varsity for that game.
Yeah.
But they still put you there instead of that kid who played that same position because you were on the team already.
Yeah.
Like I get, like you can put the Kai Money dude, you can put the Jet Bush listed as third on the roster or fourth on the roster. But when the first three guys go out, that's when you say, oh, we're moving so-and-so from outside receiver to inside, or we're moving so-and-so from outside linebacker, safety to inside linebacker for this game.
Or we could just flex out Roshan and then bring in Biagin Robinson and like play him in the backfield. I'm just like, I agree 100% that those guys should be cross-trained. And I think it was, this is indicative of probably the farewell tour for Tom Herman, even though it is in the COVID year, and we may have just welcomed in Urban Meyer next year.
Like you watch some of these other teams, you never see that. You never you never hear them say, "Oh, Nick Saban's putting in the walk on," and if you do, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." Like when they played UTEP, like, "Oh, this is nice that they got this kid a touchdown." Like when that Kai Money kid caught the touchdown in like the second quarter, I thought it was weird that it was the second quarter, but I was like, "Oh, this is nice that they got this kid a touchdown." And then I was like, "Oh, he's in again."
Yeah, little did
and
you
again,
know.
and then the next week he's starting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
this is a bit much.
And my big I guess criticism of the coaching was the end of the game when Keontae made the tackle, he was walked down. They tried to give him the ball again. He got to the 1 yard line, and he's spent by then.
Yep,
he's spent.
Yep,
he's huffing and puffing mentally. he's gonna he's drained. You got another running back there, or let's say,
you got a
5-star,
5-star back there,
and you got a quarterback that's trying to save his Heisman race, which is probably lost.
Like that's probably your deepest position is running back,
right? And you got it in your head as a coach to be like, oh well, let's just run up to the line, and run it again, and then run it again. It's like, nah, you can run a running back in there, do something, because this guy is tired. He's going to try, and basically what he did was he got caught. Again, he was trying to give his best effort to reach the ball out, which I don't blame him.
Right.
But I just think at that point you got to switch somebody out.
I'm a big, like I said, I didn't watch the game, so the game might have made me change my mind. But I'm a big Keontae Ingram fan. I think he's the best bet at running back on the team right now. Maybe not the bet like the most talent and like most upside, but I think he's the best bet at running back right now. But if you think back to the LSU game last year, he's not clutch.
Yeah.
Like that that's just not what you have in that position, and that's what you have a Roshan Johnson for. That's what you have a Sam Ehlinger for. That's what you have hopefully a Bijan Robinson for. But you just know that Keontae Ingram is not the person like, oh, it's late in the game, down by 3, who do we pass it to? Like it's not Keontae Ingram, and that's situational awareness. So like when the game's on the line, give the ball back to someone who doesn't want it probably.
Yeah, I mean I don't know, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a good. We'll see what happens on Saturday, man. I mean, like we said, if Tom, I mean, there's the fans, are upset. Obviously, fans are upset. Initial reaction is Herman's on the hot seat. My thing was, I mean, it's probably getting warm. Paul, you think it's on fire? if they win the OU game, then everything's hunky dory again.
Yeah, everything starts over.
Yeah, it's a clean slate at that point. That's that's the thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what Zach is saying. I think that's what you're saying. I think it's all three of us are in agreement with is like an OU win doesn't mean as much as it did maybe last year or the year before.
A win over OU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A win over OU.
Yeah.
Just because like OU's not the same OU team.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler's all hype.
This
year he is.
And I guess it's going to be it'll be good. I mean, it'll be good for UT to beat OU, obviously.
It'll be a big celebration.
Obviously.
For sure.
But you got Baylor, you got Oklahoma State. I mean, you beat
K-State.
OU, you got K-State. I mean, you got a lot of work to do. And the effort just wasn't there, defensively. I think we saw that with the Longhorns and the Cowboys as well. So I don't know what's up with these defenses here in the state of Texas, but we need to pick it up, bro. We need some dogs in the fight.
Big 12 needs to just take the year off. This thing. They need to put their games. They need to just show more Louisiana Lafayette and just put the Big 12 on ESPN Plus.
Recon Athlete, episode 114. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto. Shout out to Snoop Daniel in the green room. I got a shout out to Arkansas because Wes is on here. They got that win over Mississippi State.
WPS.
Just when everybody was on the Mike Leach pirate boat.
I'm rocking with Wes in Arkansas this year.
Are you?
Yeah. I like Felipe Franks. I like that quarterback that came in.
I like Felipe Franks.
So we'll see. I'm gonna roll with
Is he Mexican?
Hig Sui this year. I think he's like Dominican.
So he's Latin?
Afro-Hispanic.
Yeah.
And then they got the dude from Last Chance U on there too, who've been in college for like 15 years. Rakeem Boyd, who's from Texas as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll see. I mean, Steven Angiano says he thinks it's a Big 12 championship game or bust for Herman. Tom Dunn says that even a win against OU, another loss or two could heat it right up. So Tom thinking he needs to beat OU and Oklahoma State. But I think they need to win the rest of their games.
Well, and I think that's a bummer too because the Big 12 is so bad this year. Mm-hmm. Just beating OU won't cut it anymore. Like if this was a regular year in the Big 12 and you beat Oklahoma, but you lose to a sneaky good Kansas State, you lose to a Campbell-led Iowa State team. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like these are normally teams that are so good. Like this year, they all suck. So if you lose to them, like the public perception of the Big 12 isn't very high this year.
Nah.
All I know is I hope Iowa State wears them gooned out unis again, man.
Those
I like
black
them.
ones?
All black ones.
They're like undefeated
nice.
in them, I think.
Yeah.
I
like them.
But, I don't know, 11 a.m., got to get up early to watch some Longhorns again. And I mentioned the Cowboys. Wes says, don't talk about the Cowboys. You missed our Cowboys talk, Wes.
Yeah, it's already over.
Don't worry about it. We won't talk about the Cowboys anymore. Not until at least next Wednesday. Maybe we'll see what the line is on Saturday morning. 9.5 right now.
It's 9.5 right now.
9.5 point favorite.
That's what it opened at, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't know. Plenty of other sports going on right now. We got should we do Major League Baseball or NBA?
Talk about your Stros, Chris.
Well, I mean they had a chance to close it out today. They were up 2-0 in the series. They were up 7-4 at one point. I think it was in the 6th inning. Gave up the lead, gave up the game, ended up losing 9-7. So they're down 2-1. The home team, quote unquote, has lost all 3 games. They're playing the game at Dodger Stadium. The ball's just like flying out of that stadium right now, just because of the low humidity and the
sea breeze.
It's the low humidity and it's warm out there, and I mean pretty much like a long pop fly will get out of the stadium. Yeah, it there's a lot of carry in that stadium right now.
You think
so
you could catch a pop fly?
Me?
Yeah. Like a high one?
Yeah.
Like how high?
So high that I can touch the sky.
Like 700 feet.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it matters.
Doesn't
if
I
there's
mean like
wind? That wind's gonna be
700 feet? I don't think we can. That's a long way up.
We'll just get a jug machine and shoot that some gun up there and let it come down.
Like how many fly balls out of 10 do you think you could catch?
I would say like at least 9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, one.
Man, I played outfield, man.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
Is he moving?
20 years.
Okay, that's the other thing I'm saying too.
Okay.
If it's more than a step and a hop away from you, you're probably not going to make it.
Gas, son. Oh wait, Chris, he's been running though.
Come on, dog.
He's been jogging, so he may be good to go.
Yeah, jogs to his golf cart.
Hey, that's true.
A jog to the golf cart. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, so the Astros, they couldn't get it done today. Jose Urquidy, he did okay. Starter for the Astros. Like I said, the ball's just flying out of that stadium. So I'm hoping that it doesn't come down to a Game 5 because I think Game 5, the Athletics will probably have a lot of the momentum. So hopefully they can get it done. The next, I believe it's tomorrow.
Oh, mañana.
Yeah,
they've been playing back to back, right?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of the game last night, but I told myself, like, let me watch it, and I watched from the fifth inning to the end, and I'm like, man, there's a reason why I don't watch baseball because it's just forever, forever. It's forever.
Yeah, they play tomorrow at 2:35. The Astros are going to be the home team again, and the one thing that the Astros have been doing that they didn't, really do a whole lot of, at the end of the season, getting into the playoff. Was put up a lot of runs.
Yeah.
So they're putting up a lot of runs. Correa had a couple of home runs in one game. Altuve hit one out today. Springer had a couple of home runs. I mean, they're starting to put the offense together, which is helping their pitching. Now their bullpen, which has been their weakness all season, was exposed today. But hopefully,
people saying.
But hopefully, they can get it back together. Tomorrow and get this one. Put away, because I know that the Athletics owned the Astros during that 60-game season. They owned them. So it's nice for Houston to get here, but they need to get past the Athletics, and then hopefully, they're going to play either Tampa Bay or New York, which Tampa Bay is they are, I think it was 8-2 right now.
Buster Olney, man, he made that preseason prognostication.
Yeah, the Rays are up on the Yankees 8-2 right now, bottom of the sixth. That's not insurmountable by the Yankees for sure, by any means. I mean, when you got Judge and Stanton there, they can go yard at any point. So, if you can just win one of these next two games, that's going to be the, what they really need to do.
Like mañana, they need to close it out.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, obviously one of the next two, but at least tomorrow, just put it away.
Yeah, because don't let that momentum would carry.
Yeah, don't let it go to a fifth game.
Because they're playing in California, right?
Yeah, they're playing in California. I mean, but they're playing at Dodger Stadium, so Houston's home team again tomorrow. But then the fifth game, the A's will be the home team. So, but again, like I said, the home team, quote unquote, hasn't won a game in this series yet. So,
they got a good pitcher for tomorrow.
I'm just trying to see who's going to go. They haven't put it out there yet, but I would say put Greinke out there probably again. Last time it was they did Greinke and then Framber, but Framber just pitched. So we'll see. I'm pulling for my Astros. Everybody hates them.
You think they got it in them to get it done tomorrow?
I do.
You think so with the bats too?
Yeah. I think they can get it done. The A's do have some momentum going on right now, and baseball is one of those games where momentum plays huge part in the results of these baseball games. So, like I said, Rays are up on the Yankees 8-2, Padres up on the Dodgers 1-0 at the end of the second. Braves beat the Marlins earlier 2-0, and Atlanta leads that series 2-0. You got any dogs in this MLB playoffs there, Zach?
Nope.
No. Who's your MLB team?
I don't really have one. Just good baseball.
You don't have an MLB team?
No.
Really?
No.
But aren't you a baseball guy? You played baseball, right?
Yeah, I like UT baseball.
Okay. All right, man. All right, dude. Whatever, dude. Golly. How do you not have a baseball team?
I just don't, dude.
Rangers, Astros,
Whoever.
Marlins.
Who should I be a fan of? You pick right now, and I'll be a fan of them for the rest of my life.
Well, you should be the Astros.
Padres? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do Padres.
I like the Pilar dude. Outfielder. What's his first name?
The Pilar dude.
Find it. He's always on Web Gems. That's what I like. I like
from
defensive
Texas?
Players.
They got a Pilar. I don't know.
Should be an Astros fan, dude. So because everybody jumped off that bandwagon.
I'm out of my element.
Everybody jumped out of that bandwagon, which is okay. It's fine.
Kevin Pilar plays for the
Kevin Pillar.
Rockies. Yeah, he used to play for the Blue Jays.
Rocky Mountain High.
Oh man, you're going deep on that one. All right, NBA playoffs. I thought the Lakers were gonna, sweep. Miami got one game, but that was just for
gentleman sweep.
Yeah, that was just a.
I think that was just to stave off Bronny's ass whipping by LeBron.
And then just like just so the NBA could have an extra game, probably.
I mean, I saw a meme out there where the commissioner was on a hypothetical phone call with LeBron saying, "Let Miami get one game, you're gonna get the MVP Finals anyway, so let him have one, get the ratings up." I don't know.
All right. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how much baseball or basketball we want to talk about, apparently.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
It's just like anticlimactic, you know? Like everybody knew that the Lakers are going to win the championship, right?
I think so. I think that was the feeling amongst everybody.
It's kind of like when Golden State was winning all those championships. Everybody's just kind of like, meh. If you weren't like a Golden State fan, then you were just like, meh.
Do you feel like that if because the Celtics did not get in, do you think it would have been more of probably a real competitive series if it would have been the Lakers and the Celtics
or the Clippers, or if they played the Clippers later? Like if this was the Clippers now, do you think it would be more competitive?
More competitive, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd definitely been more interest in it. Mm-hmm. But I think if the Celtics had made it, I think there'd be more interest in that. I don't know if they would have done any better than the Heat though.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't. Really don't think so. But
I don't know enough to know to be able to give you a good.
I just think with discussion. LeBron and Anthony Davis and everybody that they have. I mean, for what the Lakers, from what I've seen, basically they're just denying the ball from Tyler Hero. It's like somebody shadowing him, and they're going to force Jimmy Butler to win the game. And for some reason, Jimmy Butler wouldn't take shots. It's just like what
Yeah.
And I was watching the game last night, and they kept these extra passes. Like they would have open shots, and they would pass. But
isn't that the small ball they're used to? Like how San Antonio used to do it, in the 2000 teens.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of like their MO.
Yeah, but I mean they're not the Spurs.
No, not by a long shot. But I'm just saying that kind of like that small ball pass, and somebody will take a shot and get it up in.
Hey Chris, if the Astros go to the World Series, are you gonna go? It's at the Rangers ballpark, and they're having fans. Yeah,
they're gonna have fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go.
Would you go if the Astros don't make it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe if it was like it was like Dodgers Yankees, I'd go.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds.
Not if it's Rays.
No.
Like Dodgers.
Yeah, they're hosting the NLCS and the World Series.
Maybe if the Braves were there. I do like the Braves. I'm a big Acuna fan. I've been a Ronald Acuna fan for a couple of years now.
All right.
So, but I like the Braves before the season. Yeah, I thought they had a really good, a really good squad. So, and a young team too. So I like Acuna. I like Freddie Freeman. Ozzie Albies, big fan of his too. So I'd like to see the Braves. Dodgers, they're crybabies still about 2017. So like the Braves are the only ones that haven't cried about any of that.
So do you think it'd be like high level drama if it was the Stros and the Dodgers for the World Series?
Oh yeah,
like all kinds of nonsense everywhere.
Yeah. We saw it. I think George Springer got hit today. I think by the A's. Yeah,
I mean that'd be something.
There's still a lot of hatred,
animosity
between the A's and the Astros, the Yankees and the Astros, and then the Dodgers and the Astros.
So you're talking about Stros, Yankees, and the what is it?
ALCS,
LCS,
yeah.
And then the World Series were Stros and Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean
high drama.
That would have to be like almost the redeeming championship for the Astros to go through these three teams. Because if they went through the Rays, it wouldn't be as much of a redemption. Because then Yankees fans would still be like, "Whoa, we're really cheated." And then if they didn't go through the Dodgers, Dodgers fans would still be talking about it. And then it's going to be a COVID year, so there'd still be a lot of people saying it's. But to me, MLB playoff baseball is playoff baseball. It doesn't matter how many teams or how many games you played during the regular season. It's a totally different season. So
I'm gonna be watching if these calls for these officials, these umpires tomorrow go the Stros way. Maybe set up a little something.
Well, I mean, I've been watching a few of these games, and some of the balls and strikes have been questionable for sure. I don't think going either way. Not an advantage to either team.
Yeah.
But I just think overall they're trying to expand the strike zone for some reason.
And for just like football too, I hate to bring officiating into it, but I mean the game for the Longhorn game officiating was just crazy, like almost making rules up on as they go. And the Dallas game there were some things that were called that should have been called, and things that were not called that should have been. Lots of weird things going on this year.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. All right, Recon Athlete, episode 114. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto. Shout out to Snoop Daniel. We've got week 7.
Mm-hmm.
Week 7 of the high school football coming up this weekend. We did have the Vandergrift Stony Point game postponed. Was there another one?
Yeah, they're just in that sequential order. There, we can just start with.
Yeah, Hendrickson versus Weiss was postponed as well. But on if you go to reconathlete.com, you can see all the games coming up. Tomorrow, October 8th, Thursday games. It's going to be on KBVO. Vista Ridge versus McNeil at 7:00. Now, Vista Ridge has just been rolling through, their schedule so far.
Yeah, I think Kyle Brown's going to put on another big spectacular.
Dude, Kyle Brown is.
He can.
Is he the least? Is he the most underrated quarterback in the area?
Hell yes.
Nobody really talks about Kyle Brown.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too, is like he's putting these young receivers like on the map. I think that was another big thing that is kind of helping out with his ability, because he threw 7 touchdowns against Hayes the first week, and then I know he lit it up against last week. And this tomorrow against McNeil, it could be another 7 game.
When they played, I saw him play against Westwood last year.
Yeah,
dude, he had a huge game then, and I just don't think, like, for some reason. I mean, we maybe it's us too. Like, I don't know. I'm a big RJ Martinez fan, obviously, because I'm Westwood, alum. But yeah, Kyle Brown, I don't think is. Have you heard his name?
Beat Snoop in video games too. I mean, he's just having 2020 is his year.
Snoop, he beat you in a video game?
Yeah.
Waxed him. He beat him. He beat him bad. He beat him bad.
It was a good game. It was
14 inning game.
It was a great game.
There's a sports term we use it in volleyball a lot, called where you're playing someone and you're gonna win, but you like keep it close for a little bit just so they get their hopes up, and just to whip it away from at the very end. That's what you call a carrot dangle. He gave Snoop the old carrot dangle.
And Wes says shout out to Jacob Bowerman. That's right.
Shout out.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'll get to that real quick. Tom Dunn, he's talking about Lions Pride Sports broadcast. But let me get back to Recon Athlete. Anderson versus Pflugerville. That's going to be a 7:00 game. And then Bastrop versus Rouse. You want to talk about any of that?
Anderson linebacker. What's his name? Aiden Thompson. He was talking mess. He was talking that heat. So
really?
I think they were. He was a little upset with their performance against McCallum. So and Pflugerville is probably one of the better teams they've played so far. So I think it'll be a good matchup. Both of them are probably in a division now where they can be a little bit more competitive. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. I think it'll go Pflugerville's way, but I think I'm excited for the matchup.
Yeah, you want to see those two guys go at it. Thompson and Elijah Oakmont are really going to go head-to-head with the running back from Pflugerville against that linebacker from Anderson. So that should be a good matchup in 5A.
All right, Bastrop versus Rouse as well on Thursday. Friday night games, Hutto versus Westwood. Let's go Warriors. Try to bounce back from that loss that they had against Lake Travis last Thursday. Round Rock versus Cedar Ridge. And this is 25-6A. And, of course, Vandergrift versus Stony Point game was postponed. So what are you going to do Friday night, Zach?
I don't know. I might go to Dallas, just see some friends. But if not, I'll be in the studio with Snoop.
You have friends in Dallas?
Yeah, I got friends in low places, dude.
Do you?
Yep.
Sing the song.
Just like George Strait said.
What's funny is I know he knows that's the wrong answer, because he kind of like paused before he let out the answer. He was like, I don't want to sound like I know the guy, so I'm going to say the most irrelevant guy, but everybody will still know the name. George Strait.
George Strait. Oh, man.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Alan Jackson. I know you sing that song.
Yeah.
Blues man and troubadour.
Nah, it was
Brooks and Dunn, dude.
Yeah.
Is it really?
No.
It's a Neon Moon, man.
No, it was Brad Paisley. Wasn't it?
That's alcohol, bro.
Oh.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I'm telling you the songs these guys sing.
Oh, man.
It's Garth Brooks, right?
Yeah.
It was Mark Chestnut.
No, dude.
Wasn't Mark Chestnut?
Keith Whitley.
No.
Tracy Bird.
No.
I'm trying to think of older school country singers. That's all I know.
David Allen Coe.
That's all I know.
Come
That's all
on,
I know.
Hank Williams Jr.
Well, I was talking about 80s and 90s.
They were in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
Monday Night Football, y'all. Come on.
That's true. All right, 26-6A, Austin High versus Bowie, rivalry game. Del Valley versus Westlake, Hayes versus Aikens, and San Marcos versus Lake Travis, 26-6A.
Birthday shout out to Isaiah De Leon, quarterback for San Marcos.
11-5A Division I, Georgetown versus Cedar Park. That's going to be a good one.
Yes, sir. That could be for the district right there.
That's going to be a good one.
Say.
Leander versus Manor. Manor going to try to bounce back from that loss to LBJ last week. And then, like we mentioned earlier, Hendrickson versus Weiss has been postponed. 12-5A Division I, Johnson versus Alamo Heights. That's San Antonio Johnson?
That's Buda Johnson.
Buda Johnson.
Yeah, I just left it off this time, not confuse you.
Buda Johnson. Lehman versus San Antonio Southwest.
I like that you assumed San Antonio Johnson.
I don't know. So was it Alamo Heights? Dripping Springs versus Lockhart. And shout out to, once again, to Tom Dunn. He said he's working on show prep for the Lions Pride Sports broadcast. Recon Athlete pregame show for Lockhart versus Drip. He says, thanks for sponsoring and promoting us. Shout out to the Sarge and everybody over at working at Lions Pride Sports broadcast. Make sure you check it out, reconathlete.com. They had a lot of a lot of viewers last week, right?
Yeah, so apparently last week with Lockhart and San Marcos being so closely near each other, that there was a lot of fans who were unable to make the game due to the low tickets availability due to COVID, and so a lot of people were able to kind of go over to Recon Athlete and also go over to Lion Pride Sports Broadcasting on their Facebook page as well as their website, and they totaled their viewership altogether. So live viewers. That night was over 12,000 individuals. So, yeah, I told Sarge whenever he told me the numbers for the Buda Johnson game, I said, Sarge, look, man, I know you had 6,000 with the Buda Johnson game. I go, you're going to do double digits with that Dripping Springs, with the San Marcos game. And I'm hoping that we can get a double digit against Drip this coming Friday as well.
Yeah, so y'all check it out, reconathlete.com, Lions Pride Sports Broadcast as well. All right, 13-5A Division II. We got Conley versus Cedar Creek, Elgin versus Eastview, and Brenham versus Glenn. Anything on those games, guys?
I think Brenham's going to walk away with this district. They're just so far away from Austin. It's hard to kind of really get coverage out there. But Connolly, hopefully they can bounce back. And I think that Cedar Creek game went to this game last year. I think it'll be a real competitive. Who will win? I'm not sure, but I think Connolly has the horses to get the W.
All right, 14-5A Division II. We got Crockett versus Liberty Hill, Travis versus Marble Falls, and Northeast versus Navarro. 13-4A Division I, LBJ versus Canyon Lake, Lampasas versus Taylor, and Burnett versus Fredericksburg, the Battling Billies.
Yeah, I'm surprised Battling Billies are number 10 in 4A D1. That was kind of a shocker for me, but the class of that district is Lampasas. I'm just waiting for that matchup when they play LBJ because that's going to be a real barn burner, I think, whenever they get matched up together.
Yeah. All right. So, we'll see what happens on these Thursday and Friday night games, and we'll talk a little bit about it on Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Right here on the Facebook page for Recon Athlete. Zach, you got anything for us? Any other topics as assigned?
Nope. Shout out this little screw right here.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't either, but it's always been there for us.
That's just, it centers us.
Yep.
Sure it does.
It does. And then let's see what that game. What was it? Dang it. I was trying to give an update on the Yankees game, but I already closed that tab. Oh well. Let's go Stros. Let's get 235 tomorrow. Let's try to get that one. Get the A's out of our hair and move on to either the Rays or the Yankees. We'll see what's up. And shout out to everybody that was on the watch party today. And, of course, we're going to shout out to Kreitz Market, Texas Point Outdoors, and Focus Fit San Marcos as well. All right. Shout outs? Oh, you already shouted out
the screw.
Shout out the screw. Oh.
Shout out to my parents, everybody watching in. I appreciate y'all, and everybody at Lion Pride Sports Broadcast. Thanks for being teamed up. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate everybody that tunes in every Wednesday and Saturday. BJ, send me The trade offer that doesn't have to do with anybody that's on your IR, please. I want to shout out to God, my parents, of course, everybody that's been supporting us since day one. All right, Paul Rodriguez, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all are enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And if you're on YouTube, hit the bell. We'll let you know we upload. We gone.